let's continue our discussion with solving linear equations. So in this example, I want to distribute the 10 with 10x and 10 times 80. So I will have 10x plus 80 equals 3x plus 9. And now I want to isolate the x as best I can. And so I need to get rid of this 80. I'm going to move the 3x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 80. I'm also going to subtract 3x. So that will move the 3x to the other side and move 80 to the other side. So I have 10 minus 3x equals negative 80 plus 9. Okay. And, well, that should have had an x there. Let me fix that. So that should be 10x. 10 minus 3 is 7. And then we have negative 80 plus 9. Well, that's going to be negative 71. Okay, so we need to divide both sides by 7. And so I'm finding that x equals negative 71 over 7. And that would be the final answer there. Okay, so it's just a single answer. Nothing spectacular for that one. Let's try this problem. So for this one, we're going to have to distribute quite a bit. I have 5d minus 1/2 times the group 2d minus 4 equals negative 5/4 d plus 1. All right, well, not much to do with 5d at the moment. Now, the negative 1/2 times 2, that just becomes 2 divided by 2. So that's just negative d. And then we have negative 4 times negative 1/2. So that will become positive 2 because 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, here we have negative 5/4 d. So that's what it is. And then negative 5/4 times 4, that will reduce the 4. So just negative 5. Okay, so we're getting closer there. Now, is there anything I can combine on the left-hand side? Yeah, I have 5 minus 1d, 4d plus 2 equals negative 5/4 d minus 5. So we want to get all of the numbers on one side and all of the unknown, the variable, on one side. So I'm going to move this 2 to the right-hand side. I'm going to move this negative 5/4 d on the left-hand side. And when they do that, they'll switch signs. So I have 4d plus 5/4 d equals negative 2 minus 5. Okay. Now, we need to, this is easy to combine, right? This is just negative 7. We need to combine this, 4d plus 5/4 d. Well, we know what the LCD has to be. This is 4 over 1, so it's going to have to be 4. So I can make 4 into 16/4 plus 5/4 d, and that equals that negative 7. So I have 16 plus 5. Well, that's going to be 21 over 4 d equals negative 7. Now we need to divide both sides by this 21/4. I find it easier to multiply by the reciprocal. So if I multiply 4 21st, that 21/4 d, and I can do that on both sides, negative 7, and that's 4 over 21. I find that the same, it is equivalent as dividing both sides. So the 21 reduces, the 4 reduces, just as it should. And then we have d equals, and you can see this negative 7 over 21. Well, that's going to make this a 3, so that becomes a 3. So I have negative 4/3, okay? So that would be the final answer for that one. Okay, well, I hope those are starting to feel a little bit easier. Yeah, so let's go on to maybe one more problem for this video. So in this one, I want to solve for a. Here, everything's over a fraction. Well, you can think about how to do this in a couple different ways. We could find the LCD, and then we can multiply both sides by that LCD. Well, what would it be? We have 4 and we have 6. Well, we could make it 12. The LCD, I think, would be 12. So to get this to be 12, I need to multiply it by a 3. A minus 4 over 12. And to get 6 to be a 12, you need to multiply it by 2 over 12. Okay. Now, this is why I'm using this method, because I want to show you if everything is over the same denominator, you can multiply the entire equation by that denominator and it just goes away. Okay? And that's going to be super important going forward. Okay? Now you might have said, well, I could use cross multiplication for this, and you can, but I really want you to see that you can make everything over the same denominator so you can just get rid of it. It's going to make a lot more complicated problems much easier. Anyway, let's distribute 3a minus 12 equals 2a plus 14. Okay, let's solve for a. So I'm going to move the 2a to the left-hand side, the 12 to the right-hand side. So I have 3a minus 2a equals 12 plus 14. Okay, again, if you move something on the opposite side, it takes the opposite sign. 3 minus 2 is just 1, so that's just an a. And then we have 12 plus 14, so that's going to be 26. So that would be the final answer there. All right, again, I want to say, maybe I'll write this in a different color. Now, you can cross multiply if you want on this stage. That's fine. If you did that, you'll have 6a minus 4, 4a plus 7. Okay, that's totally fine. I just want you to see this technique of putting everything over the same denominator and getting rid of it. We saw that technique in a previous video, and it's really going to come up in the following questions where it gets much more confusing. So keep that in mind. For something this simple, you can of course use this method, but do practice this if you can, of getting everything over the LCD, and that's going to make things easier going forward. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.